Jai Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai. Just quickly recite the prayer because it's already a little late. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kata Mahyam Dadati Sapadantakam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha sorry Shri Rupam Sagratam Saraghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pajan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sangalita Shri Kanvitam हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी पुष्पवांसी देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय विधायकास्ने sorry Vidhaya katsnyena cha tad
विधायकास्नेन च तत्
yadaha bhagavan bhavaha
यतः भगवान् भवः
sandadu kasya kayena
तद्धुकस्य कायेन
savaniya pasho shiraha.
स्तवन्य पशोऽसिरः
Yeah, someone can recite.
विधायकास्नेन च तत्
Katsnyena cha tad
यद् आह भगवान् भवः
yadaha bhagavan bhavaha
सन्दधुकस्य कायेन
sandadu kasya kayena
तवानीय पशोऽसिरः
savaniya pasho shiraha. Anyone else? Mataji's? Vidhayakasnena cha tad yadaha bhagavan sandadu kasya kayena savaniya pasho shiraha. Anyone else? One last person.
विधायकास्नेन च तत्
Vidhayakasnena cha tad
यदाह भगवान् भव
yadaha bhagavan bhava
सन्तधुकस्य कायेन
sandadukasya kayena
सवनीय पशोऽसिरः
savaniya pasho shiraha. Vidhaya,
विधाय
executing.
executing
Katsnena,
काष्ठेन
all in all.
all in all
Cha,
च
also.
also
Tat,
तत्
that.
that
Yat,
yet
which.
which
Aha,
आह
was said.
perfect
Bhagavan,
भगवान्
the Lord.
the Lord
Bhavaha,
भवः
Shiva.
शिवः
Sandadhu,
तद्धु
executed.
executed
Kasya,
तस्य
of the living Daksha.
of the living Daksha
Kayena,
कायेन
with the body. Savaniya,
savaniya
meant for sacrifice.
meant for sacrifice
Pashu,
pasho
of the animal.
of the animal
Shiraha,
shiraha
head.
head.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
After everything was executed exactly as directed by Lord Shiva, Daksha's body was joined to the head of the animal meant to be killed in the sacrifice. Purport Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This time, all the demigods and great sages were very careful not to irritate Lord Shiva. Therefore, whatever he asked was done. It is specifically said here that Daksha's body was joined to the head of an animal. Quote again. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. I beg the blessings of everyone. I have no qualification nor any realization, but my hope is that I can repeat the words and I can bring pleasure, please all of you, and please the previous acharyas. Beg the blessings of everyone, especially His Grace Guru Kishore Prabhu. So, yes, so now finally the time has come when the mistake has been fully rectified, and now Daksha is going to offer very beautiful prayers. So Krishna is very, very grateful, very, very kind, and Krishna is always waiting for the transformation of the fallen conditioned souls from being the enjoyer to being the servant. So yesterday I was reading, actually Prabhupada books are really extraordinary because the words of Prabhupada are Prabhupada's realizations. So these realizations, it may be difficult for us to grasp Shastra directly, but when Prabhupada speaks his realization on how Shastra will reveal, that's very important. So Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada speaks in his books how the Shastra is going to reveal to us. So therefore, it's very heart touching actually, and it's very appealing. So Prabhupada was saying that only if we join ourselves to the pleasure potency of Krishna can we get real happiness in life. It means that only if we get the favor, we win the favor of Srimati Radharani by how? Prabhupada says very, very important. There are many, many levels to pleasing the pleasure potency of Krishna. But the first level is actually described as tapasya, austerity. So austerity means that uh, doing things which Krishna likes, that Guru likes. Whether I like it or not, I will do it. So everyone has experienced this when we first started the process. We said one round is easy. But one round every day, yeah, it is easy. We say it is easy. But then when we start doing it, we realize it's not easy, right? So so it's not so easy to keep anything going regularly because the tendency is, as we all know, the tendency is to become lax. So that is called tapasya. Tapasya means taking some inconvenience for higher spiritual purpose. So the first principle is actually tapasya, is austerity. And what is the most important austerity for us? The most important austerity is actually to hear and chant the glories of Krishna. Because to hear and chant the glories of Krishna is directly engaging the mind in Krishna's service. Engaging the body is easy, engaging everything else, intelligence is also easier, but the mind, it's very difficult. The mind doesn't like to be controlled, the mind doesn't like to surrender. So therefore, this is the most, in this month of Kartik, this is the most important uh, principle, because it's going into a slight tangent, that depending on the quality of our hearing and chanting, like mind may be very disturbed, but if we are really trying to hear and chant with great intensity, then the result will be the heart will go to Krishna. Prabhupada said something really amazing about the brain of Bhakti Yogena. Actually, Prabhupada purports are really, really extraordinary. If you actually read every word, every line, and actually understand, you will be moved. I was reading a purport yesterday. Prabhupada was saying, when one hears about the pastimes of the Lord, Prabhupada is not speaking about the Vrindavan pastimes. Prabhupada is speaking about like Varahadev, Narsingadev, or Kurmadev. So Prabhupada says when we hear about these pastimes, devotees here, and I'm not qualified because I don't experience this, but Prabhupada said devotees, the tears fall from the eyes, the hair stand on end, one laughs, one dances like a madman, cries. Then the last line of the purport, Prabhupada said, this is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. So it's like that's like the nail on the wall. That a devotee is someone who has this kind of experience. So I was like, wow, how proud. Another place, Prabhupada is saying, for a real surrendered devotee, he cannot forget the Lord for even a moment. So these kind of lines of Prabhupada, yes, they're very inspiring, but also Srila Prabhupada is writing them for us so that we have to come to that level. It's not that we just read and then we think that, okay, it's just there. No. If it was just there, why did Prabhupada have to write it? So that's why it's very important. So in the next verse, in Prahlad Maharaj's teachings, is speaking about how one should perform bhakti with great intensity. So in that, Prabhupada said that in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that this intense Tibrena Bhakti Yogena is the only way we can burn to ashes all our material activities. And Prabhupada is saying that how can we develop this Tibrena Bhakti Yogena, this intense devotion? One is Prabhupada is saying remembering the pastimes and chanting the glories of the Lord. So chanting the names and remembering the pastimes, these two things Prabhupada is saying in the purport. So bhakti is actually really wonderful. And then going forward, Prabhupada is, what we should do is whenever we find a link in the purport, we can do is we should keep referencing. So what I did, I referenced Tibrena Bhakti Yogena, and I typed Tibrena Bhakti Yogena space Vani quote. So Vani quotes gives all the quotes of Prabhupada. So one quote of Prabhupada said Tibrena Bhakti Yogena means not superficial but very serious. Another place Prabhupada says Tibrena Bhakti Yogena means that one has to smear the dust of the feet of the great souls. One has to get their blessings. So this is a very important principle that we always need the blessings of the great souls for anything. This is very important. And then Prabhupada quotes this very important verse. Yasya deve para bhakti jatha deve tatha guru. Tasyate hi kadita hi artha prakashante mahatma. So one must try to develop spontaneous love and deep faith. Vishram Bena. So Vishram Bena Gurur Seva. Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that one should serve Guru with great intimacy, at the same time great reverence. So one has to develop this with the spiritual master to begin, and of course other great devotees. So Guru Bhakti is very deep actually. If we go very deep into Guru Bhakti, it is very easy to go deep into Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is ultimately works on the principle of Anugatya. So the love and affection with which you serve your immediate superior in the spiritual world, that is transferred to the divine couple. That same mood is transferred to the divine couple. It is not different actually. That's why we say that Guru Krishna Prasadipai. So Krishna's mercy is reciprocated to us with by Guru. That's why Raghunath Das Goswami says, think of Guru as someone who is very dear to Krishna, extremely dear to Krishna. And then Prabhupada says, the secret of success is to honor the spiritual master. Prabhupada says, amazing. If you just honor Guru, you honor Guru like Krishna. Guru is not Krishna. Guru is a dear associate of Krishna. But in love, Krishna Krishna says that I cannot pay back the debt of my pure devotee. So when we give that kind of respect, that kind of awe, because if we don't practice giving respect, paying obeisances, praying, all these things, if we don't practice consciously, then naturally the mind will think of Guru as an ordinary person. So we need to respect the Guru and we need to follow the instructions of the Guru. These two things are really, really important. Actually, the instructions of the Guru are going to reveal to us the real form of Guru. Narottam Das Thakur, we sing every day, Shri Guru Charana Padma. It's a very important song. If you read in that song, very important, he says, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, that it is revealed in the heart. So revelation in the heart is the real purpose of Guru Bhakti. So how do we worship Guru? Right. So Raghunath Goswami Manashiksha speaks about three important verses glorifying Guru. In the first verse, he says that develop unprecedented love for Guru, unprecedented love and deep faith in Guru. Second verse, he says, remember Guru as very dear to Krishna, Mukunda Preshtatve, second verse. And in the following verse, he says, whenever lust and his friends attack, call out the name of the dear devotees of Krishna, which of course includes the spiritual master. And then he speaks about pride. How do we get rid of the desire for pride, fame? He says by continuously serving the spiritual master. And then in the next verse, Raghunath Goswami is saying that Guru will is the one who will engage me in the service of Radha. And then going forward, he says more advanced topics which I'm not qualified to even think about. So the point is that Guru Guru means our initiating spiritual master, instructing spiritual master, and pure devotees of the Lord. How deep is our attachment to them? How deep is our dedication to them? That's very important. Not just, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, it's not just enough to think in the mind, we have to demonstrate, which means we have to do. So Guru's words and Guru's mission are not different. So we have to serve Guru's words by practicing very strong sadhana, and we have to serve Guru's mission. So that is the only way. Prabhupada says in another purport, Prabhupada says, this is really encouraging. I was reading yesterday. Prabhupada says, if one is always serving Krishna and one is always thinking how to serve Krishna, which means you can be serving Krishna 24 hours a day, but when you're not serving, you're thinking how to serve. Then he said, your going back home, back to Godhead is guaranteed. So very simple, right? It's not difficult to do this. Whenever you serve Krishna, serve, and whenever you're not able to serve Krishna, think of how you can serve Krishna. Think of what is the next devotional service you can do. So by this process of pleasing a spiritual master, then what happens is one gets the mood of Guru. And when you get the mood of Guru, when you get Guru in the heart, then what happens? According to Raghunath Goswami, Raghunath Goswami says, Nama Shreshtam Manavapi Sachi Putram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagajam Urupurim Maturim Goshtavate Radha Kundam Girivaram Ahoradika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Prityakripaya Shri Guru Tannatosmi. He is offering this prayer to Sri Rupa Goswami. What is he saying? He's saying that first, Nama Shreshtam. Guru gave me the holy name. Because if we did not come close Guru, we won't even get the holy name. So actually, great devotees say that in one sense, Guru is even much more greater than even Krishna's holy name. Because for us, for conditioned soul, if we didn't come to the feet of Guru, we would not have gotten holy name. Of course, according to Tattva, Krishna is Purusha and everyone else is Prakriti, according to that Tattva. But I'm saying for us, how much we should be grateful to Prabhupada, how much we should be grateful to our Guru Varga. Without them, we would not have gotten anything. Sometimes, like one Prabhupada disciple, Chas was saying that how much Guru Puja is so important. Is so important. Actually, one devotee was worshipping Shaligram. And Prabhupada said, where were you in Guru Puja? This devotee said, Prabhupada was worshipping Shaligram. Prabhupada said, no, this is more important. So that's why Prabhupada instituted the singing of Guru Ashtakam in front of the deities. You see, this is like such a revolutionary thing, right? To sing in front of the deities. You see, generally in other temples in Vrindavan, they will sing other songs. But Prabhupada said, no, Guru, first, right? And two times, this and Guru Puja. So this is very, very powerful. First is thing is the holy name. Chanting the holy name is the best service, the most important service to Guru. As much as possible to chant the holy name with as much quality as possible. Um, and also chanting deepens our faith in Guru also. Chanting the holy name deepens Guru Bhakti. Sanatana Goswami says. So Namashreshta Manam Api Sachi Putram. Who is the son of Sachi? Lord Chaitanya. So by Guru's mercy, I have developed attachment to Lord Chaitanya. Raghunathas Goswami says in one prayer that he just become mad after Lord Chaitanya. So attachment to Lord Chaitanya. Atra Swarupam. Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam. So to the Goswamis. By becoming attached to Guru, we become attached to the previous acharyas, the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Then after that he says that, then he says that Mathurin Goshtavati. So he's speaking about grudge. So then Radha Kundam Girivaram. So Radha Kund and Giri Govardhan. So Raghunathas Goswami is saying, by the mercy of my Guru, I have attained all these things. So this is Guru Bhakti. So Guru Bhakti is not cheap. Guru Bhakti is not just sentimental, but it reveals these things in the heart. Prabhupada says, this is that famous verse with an Aradhya Bhagavan Varishita Tadham Vrindavan. So Prabhupada is speaking that how Krishna is so dear, um, how the Brajvasis are so dear, and and how ultimately speaking about the gopis. Ramya Kajnupasana Vrajavadu Vargiyanaya Kopita. So we will attain all these attachments if we become attached to the spiritual master. For sure, it will be revealed in the heart. So with that faith, with that inspiration, we can follow the instructions of the spiritual master more and more and more. Recently is the disappearance day of His Divine Grace Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, his glories are unfathomable. Actually, this is the limit. I mean, we should not compare or criticize, but you speak about renunciation. There is no one like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. What would Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj wear? He would go and pick up cloth from the corpses on the bank of Ganga. He would wear torn clothes. Of course, we should not imitate, but just to glorify. And what he would eat some, like he would take some vegetable, like some eggplant, he would soak it in Ganga, he would offer his deity and eat it. This was his normal, not Bhishma Panchak, not Kartik. It's like every day. You know? Oh my Lord. And ultimate, this is like ultimate. He was always in deep separation. He didn't want any disciples. You know how many times he rejected Saraswati Thakur. Ultimate was that, ultimate is, this is the ultimate. So one day he was blind. So blind person, how can he walk? How can he? So he was on this side of Ganga. And next day, Sir Bhaksani Thakur saw him on the other side of Ganga. He said, how did you come? He smiled. And later he confided that Krishna actually came and took him across. So he has these kind of reciprocations on a regular basis. It's like extraordinary. And it is said that he was always in intense separation. And even though he is an eternal associate of the Lord, he was so careful to protect the glory of our Sampradaya. Saraswati Thakur said, my Guru Maharaj, what can I say about my Guru Maharaj? if he was serving Krishna 23 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds, I could have considered whether I should accept him or not. But he didn't give me a chance. He is serving Krishna 24 hours a day, not even a single moment of sense gratification. Extreme renunciation and extreme dependence. Like one time, as one lady mentioned that snake came and poisoned the milk. So if anyone in this world sees or hears such a thing, will they ever dare to touch the milk? No. But he is no problem. He said, this is prasadam. He didn't. So extreme renunciation, extreme to level extreme. And also one more extraordinary thing about him, about our Guru Varga actually, that how Mayapur Dham is so glorious. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if Krishna wants to call me by playing his flute, if Krishna wants to show himself to me, let him come to Navadvip. I will not take one step out of Navadvip. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. And Gaurkshadavji Maharaj, he actually, long before, he was serving in Braj for many years. And then he came to Mayapur in his ripe old age. So that shows the glory of Mayapur, that Mayapur is not only not different from Braj, but Mayapur is very special in our Sampradaya. So, yeah. So, when we hear about these devotees, these great devotees of the Lord, and we hear about their pastimes, they attract us to them. Like that's why they perform those pastimes. They don't need to perform those pastimes, but why they perform such pastimes to attract us to them. And then when we become attracted to them by following the instructions and by hearing these pastimes, then what happens is we develop a deep kind of oneness with them, and as a result of that oneness, inevitably their thought process, their love, their goals, they all get transferred to our heart. Of course, may not be complete, but to some extent. And to the extent that they decide to make that transfer to our heart, we feel something. Just like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj mentioned, when devotees came to him to learn about higher realizations, Babaji Maharaj says, just chant Hare Krishna and pray to God Nitai. This is a golden instruction actually, because this is a very amazing instruction. Generally, when we speak about Hare Krishna Mahamantra is speaking about Radha and Krishna. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also about Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So when we chant the holy name of Krishna with a mood of indicating Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, then it becomes offenseless. Because it is Krishna now, we are chanting Krishna, but at the same time it's Gauranga. So this is an amazing instruction. So he said, just by chanting, and then of course he said that by reading these two books, Prem Bhakti Chandrika and Pratana, by Narottam Das Thakur, one can attain Krishna Prem. So of course these two books are very wonderful, very amazing, but the point I'm stressing on is Nam. The whole purpose of our acharyas, our Guru Varga is to stress on the holy name. So, yeah, this holy name is the ultimate. So we have to increase whatever we did in this month is simply to increase our intensity in chanting the holy name and increase our absorption, attraction to the words of pure devotees. Saraswati Thakur also said something amazing. All of you can write this down. I heard this from Amulila Prabhu. So one of Saraswati Thakur's disciples asked him that Guru Maharaj, we know Ragnuga Bhakti is the goal. We know Ragnuga Bhakti is very high, spontaneous devotion is very high, but we want to attain what we have to do. So he said two things. He said, chant holy name in a very prayerful, intense mood. And second, he said, read the scriptures of the previous acharyas with great submissiveness and great faith. So it's quite simple. It's not something that is far out of our understanding. We have to do it anyway. We have to read Prabhupada books and we have to chant. So in the third verse of Manashiksha, Raghunath Goswami is saying, with great love and affection, offer your obeisances to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Swarup Damodar Goswami, and to all their associates and followers. If you do this, what will happen? Then you will be able to um, develop, you will be able to serve, residing eternally in Braja with great attraction. With great attraction, you will be able to serve Radha and Krishna. So this is the power of the lotus feet of the pure devotees. Very, very powerful. So if we can become attached to them, so that's why we have so many appearance and disappearance days. When we become attached to them, we will also realize many amazing qualities in our own spiritual master, in our own guru. And by that, our attachment and love for them will increase. We need to love. Love means, Prabhupada says, bhakti cannot be an official transaction. Prabhupada says one should offer one's life, uh, wealth, one's intelligence, and one's words with affection to the spiritual master. That's very important. With affection. So when we serve Guru, when we serve Vaishnavas with affection, then that will give rise to this revealing. Revealing means what? Revealing means you feel a spontaneous attraction. You feel a spontaneous feeling. That is very important. That is extremely important. So, to sum up in this month, what did we learn? Like, the first most important thing that we should learn from whatever we did in this month is that whatever I am doing today, whatever I'm cultivating today is what I'm going to be tomorrow. So the quality and the quantity of what we do, of course, the quality is very important, quantity is also important, but the way in which we do things is very important, because that will shape who we are tomorrow. Because Krishna, ye yatham mam prapadyante, according to how we approach, Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. So, yeah, for example, in this month, if we cultivated the habit of reading Prabhupada books, or hearing Bhagavatam every day as much as possible, then we will be able to take shelter of Bhagavatam more and more in the future. And how we read the books is very important. How we read them, how we study them, with what motive we study them. And ultimately, what will happen? That will translate into a prayer. That will translate into a prayer. And anything else we do in this month, the way we do, right? I'm not qualified to speak, but the way in which we do, right? It's very, very important. So ideally, whatever we do in this month, we should follow every day of the year. So the way we should follow is that we should link our sadhana with our seva. Like we are doing seva, we do many sevas at home, we cook, we clean. So we can chant prayers that time. We can memorize and chant prayers. So that way the mind is fully absorbed. The mind is, when you are chanting them, the mind has to this line, the next line, the next line, right? So in that way, we become conscious. And then, yeah, we spend some time reading Prabhupada books. Actually, Prabhupada said something extraordinary. Prabhupada said, if you are reading Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you are directly associating with Rupa Goswami. And if you are applying what is mentioned, you are directly serving his lotus feet. Music. Actually, that's why Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada lectures, they are like gems. Right? Now I realize that how much I was missing, or how much I am missing if I don't read. I am missing a lot. my consciousness is huge. There's a huge difference in my consciousness. Mm. So yeah, Prabhupada said, coming back, how do we develop this Tivrena Bhakti Yogin? Because this Tivrena Bhakti Yogin is the only way to, Prabhupada says, amazing. If you engage in Tivrena Bhakti Yogina, means with intensity, you engage in devotional service, then the result will be immediately will be cleansed of the material contamination, and you'll awaken your love for Krishna, your spontaneous attraction to Krishna. And once you awaken your spontaneous attraction to Krishna, this is like extraordinary. Prabhupada is saying that when you will establish that relationship with Krishna, you will always think of Krishna in that way. And as you keep thinking of Krishna with that relationship, you spiritualize your body, and even in this body, you can attain the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. So there's no karma, there's no material body, and Prabhupada even goes on to say, you won't be attacked by the desires to eat and sleep. So this is how powerful the process is. So then I kind of researched that how can we develop this, because so many anarthas, so many impediments. So two things. Of course, it is in Charitamrita is mentioned, just by talking of Nityananda, you become ecstatic. That is, it is definitely there. But Prabhupada is saying that doing Sankirtan and glorifying the Lord with the devotees, like sitting with devotees and glorifying Krishna. These two ways are easy ways, quick ways that we can become ecstatic in devotional service. We can become really excited, enthusiastic in devotional service, and we can get greed, right? See, the reason why we don't get greed, we don't have greed, is because we don't see, we don't feel, yeah. We don't feel. So feeling depends on our consciousness. So what is the easiest way to elevate the consciousness? Yeah, this participating in kirtan, discussing with devotees. Like when you discuss and you take out the nectar from the books and you discuss, wow, it's so exciting. I really want to attain. Right now, I want to attain. Like that enthusiasm comes, right? And then, of course, I was thinking today, I was just reflecting during Mangalarti, when we become very eager to attain the ecstasy of insignificance, it's very powerful. So, like, that really attracts Krishna. Because most of the time, speaking for myself also, we have many desires even related to Krishna consciousness, which are actually basically the root cause of it is pride only, but it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle, very subtle. So, like for example, I want to dress the deities. I want to dress today, last day of Kartik. This is very subtle pride. Why do you want to dress on last day of Kartik? Because I want to be honored. So it's not a pure desire. It's a desire for name and fame. And what does Raghunath Goswami said about name and fame? He says, Raghunath Goswami says, as long as the impudent, untouchable woman of the desire for fame dances in my heart, why should love of Radha Krishna touch me? That's like a really powerful statement. It always strikes my heart. So the thing is that when we have desire that I want to participate in kirtan, I want to be the servant of others, I want to enjoy. My Guru Maharaj says that being humble is such an amazing feeling. It's such an ecstatic feeling. Why should we want to feel humble? Because the words of pure devotees. So we take great pleasure in being the servant of others, as so many of you are doing. So these three things, hearing, and of course, service, intense service, whatever service we do, intense, constantly trying to increase the quality of that service and being very personal in that service. These are the things which can, will definitely help us. And of course, the last crowning thing is preaching. Wow, preaching is extraordinary. I have realized again and again in my spiritual life when nothing works, chanting doesn't work, reading doesn't work, nothing works because for whatever reason my conscience is not good. Preaching works for sure. I mean, it's such an extraordinary impact on the consciousness immediately. Because think about it, all the previous acharyas, they are actually dedicating to this mission. When you try to serve them, they become extremely pleased. Extremely pleased. You know, like, of course, we should not copy, but Saraswati Thakur, how much eager he was for preaching. He would say, one time some Americans came. Of course, we shouldn't take this out of context, but some British people came. Saraswati Thakur arranged meat for them. Can you imagine? He arranged meat for them so that they could hear Krishna Katha. So Saraswati Thakur, so broad-minded, so intense in his desire to spread, and that desire has blossomed in the heart of our Srila Prabhupada, you know. So this is very, very wonderful. And the main thing in preaching is to make people take to the process. That's very important. To make people chant, you know, like that's the most ecstatic feeling. Like if you can get a person on the street to say Jai Prabhupada, you can say them to chant the holy name, you see what happens. Immediately your spiritual master will appear before you. Immediately you will feel his presence. You'll become ecstatic because it's so dear. The service is so dear, right? So at least for that sake, we can, engage. So in this end of Kartik, we should make this vow, deep vow, that we can carry forward our sadhana and correct. And most important thing is that we should remember, as Honorable Sachindan Maharaj says, that everything else can be done by others. Shopping can be done by others. Going to work can be done by others. Everything is replaceable. But your spiritual practice, nobody can do it for you. So we should always remember that, and remember that the greatest service to our Guru is to become self-realized. Is to become self-realized. So if we firmly endeavor to become self-realized, then we can do lot of service to our spiritual master. We can do lot of service to them. So always remember this Kartik month, and always remember this point that ultimately bhakti is service with love and affection. Bhakti is not just devotion, not just service, it's loving devotional service. That's very important. See, if we are not trying to render loving devotional service, then we won't be able to continue devotional service for long. If we are rendering it mechanically, just for the sake of doing. So we have to try to render loving devotional service. And once we have attained to that stage of loving devotion, then life will become very blissful. Because then we'll be able to experience the eternal energy of Supreme Lord. So, an incredible month and very special month. And it's unfortunate day that the month is ending. But at the same time, it is a great reminder that how important our time is. So whatever austerities we have taken in this month, whatever we have done in this month, we should always remember, should always keep them close to our heart, because these whatever austerities within this month is not just simply to torture the body. Why we did austerities, whoever did austerities or whatever you did, it's actually to express our love for Krishna. That is the purpose of austerity. The purpose of austerity is to curtail, to deny yourself sense gratification for Krishna's pleasure. Just like, for example, and this is a very important, very wonderful example, that you see the gopis in the spiritual world, they make so many items for Radha and Krishna, but in their mind the thought never comes, how will I enjoy? They never make a plan to save it also for them later. They never. So this is the extent of their love, that they identify with Krishna's pleasure. When they see Krishna happy, they're pleased. They don't need to satisfy themselves separately. So I'll just narrate one quick verse in Saraswati Thakur and end. to just glorify our acharyas. One time, Saraswati Thakur, sorry, sir, Sri Bhakshanjali Thakur was talking with a group of scientists. So he was telling them what how our parampara is so amazing. So then he was saying that how our parampara comes from, comes from Krishna down to, he said Lalita Devi. And then from Lalita Devi, he spoke the word Ananga Manjari. And as soon as he spoke the word Ananga Manjari, his eyes filled with tears. He started trembling and then he folded his hands saying that, please forgive me. I cannot speak anymore. And then he went and he locked himself in his room. And for 3 days he did not come out. And devotees could hear from outside that he was crying. So our acharyas are very, very exalted, very special, extremely special. And today being the Ras Purnima day, since we already spoke about the Ras Leela on the first day of Kartik, so the main principle here is seva. Seva. So Ras Leela in our sampradaya is compared to Nam Sankirtan. So more and more we can engage in Nam Sankirtan and we can engage others in Nam Sankirtan, then we can realize Ras Leela. We can experience something. We can experience something of the ecstasy of Ras Leela. And of course, um, the moods of separation experienced by the gopis. There are many wonderful verses, but one verse is very important for us sadhakas, and that is Pati Sutanvaya Bratri Bandhavan Ati Vilangetinti Achyutagata Gati Vidastavud Gita Mohita Kitavayoshitaha Kastya Jenishi. So this is explaining how actually the gopis, their hearts actually just rushes towards Krishna when they hear the flute. And of course it is mentioned that how it is almost like Krishna is just throwing a rope around their neck and pulling them. But the important thing here is that Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj and many other pure devotees explain that how the gopis surrender and renunciation is spontaneous. So the more and more we can make our surrender, our service spontaneous, the more pleasing it is to Krishna. So it is said that actually uh, the family members of the gopis, they tried to stop the gopis, but the gopis just were in, they had such an intense desire that nobody could stop them. So speaking for myself, at least we can translate this to eagerness and enthusiasm in our services. Like yesterday, someone told me that he's doing Krishna Babu told me he's doing Noon Aarti. And I just spoke that wow, that's such a privilege. I just spoke, but I was not feeling. I just somehow I spoke because I'm reading Prabhupada books. And I realized we should always feel like this. When you feel like this, very enthusiastic, wow, I'm going to wake up the details. Wow, I'm going to do that. This simple enthusiasm, this will give us the realization. Because Krishna is also very happy to receive service from such a person who is extremely enthusiastic. That is the glory of Srimati Radharani. Her enthusiasm is always fresh, and newer ways to give pleasure to Krishna. So, because of that, Krishna is unlimitedly attracted towards her. And it's quite interesting that Srimati Radharani never thinks about herself. She only thinks about Krishna. She only thinks about Krishna, but she's and she her form, her complexion is extraordinary. Everything about her is extraordinary. So Krishna just longs for one sidelong glance from her. That is how much Krishna is, eternally feels eternally indebted to her. So anyhow, so that is why Mahaprabhu came. So again, as usual, it became very late now. So I'm extremely sorry, but Yeah, this is the great month of Kartik, and is the Ras Purnima. So we can all desire to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the great devotees, of the current devotees of our authorities, and try to please them, try to serve them. And in this way, by getting the mercy, everything will be revealed in the heart. Please forgive me this month. I don't know. I must have committed offense to so many devotees. I must have spoken something wrong. I'm very unqualified. But the glory of our Guru Parampara is unlimited. So, yes. So, our Guru Parampara is very, very special, incredible, incredibly incredible. So, I'd like to end here. Anyone has any question or comment?
One question. First of all, very wonderful class project. One of the thing you mentioned is that it's very difficult to engage the mind, but quite easy to engage the body and the intelligence. But in a conditioned state project, it's also difficult to engage your body or engage your intelligence, or to speak of putting the mind in picture or putting the mind in the service of Krishna and Guru. So how should one overcome? Because you mentioned a lot about austerity, which is about voluntarily accepting inconvenience for chanting, for reading and hearing, but it's very difficult. So how do you cultivate that mood, or that how do you get that strength to do it on a bodily platform with an intelligence platform?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things everyone does to maintain the body every day naturally. You have to you have to cook, you have to earn money for feeding devotees at home. So the best thing we can do from my experience is hearing. Hearing is extremely powerful, extraordinary, extremely powerful. But as if we can do exclusive at least sometime, that's very good. When we do other activities, many times it just goes in the background. But when we exclusively hear, then that's very powerful. So I have experienced that many times that I have a question, I have something in my mind, and great souls directly speak that thing, directly speak that thing. So that increases our attachment to them, like anything, when we hear great souls. So great souls, pure devotees, they speak for us specifically, like specifically for us, tailored for us, custom. So that's very attractive. And at the same time also that they infuse us with divine transcendental um, to whatever extent transcendental feeling also when they speak, the pastimes, when they speak the glories of the Lord. They are very, very merciful. I'm sure everyone has experienced this. I mean, Rana Maharaj Yatra recently, it's very obvious, right? How exalted your devotees are. So, yeah. Mm. Yeah, hearing is the best, easiest way. Our founder Acharya Prabhupada said, hearing is my hobby. So we can just follow his footsteps and make hearing our hobby. Anyone?
One thing, in the middle, I couldn't understand the statement which you said. Some women in my heart, you said. What is the statement? Could you repeat it? So
So as I say that again,
you said one statement that is so heavy that I couldn't understand.
Yeah, Raghunath Goswami says the translation directly. He says, as long as the impudent, untouchable woman of the desire for fame. So is of course not speaking about any devotee lady, but is speaking about Raghunatha Das Goswami is comparing that to actually, sorry to say, but speaking about prostitute. So he's comparing the desire of fame to that it's so disgusting. And then he says, if this dances in my heart, which always dances in my heart, with dancing in the heart, why should love for Radha Krishna touch me? Why? Why should it? So, and then he says solutions to constantly, he says constantly serve Guru. Saraswati Thakur's comment, famous comment is there. The moment I stop serving Guru, then I entertain the desire to become Guru myself. So as soon as I stop serving Guru, then immediately I say, I want to become Guru. This is me, it's me. This is always in me, but just repeating.
In the same context, one of the statement you mentioned of Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami is, when lust and other friends they attack me, then you should remember the acharyas and pure devotees.
Yeah, he says actually scream out their name. Yeah, you may not be able to scream literally, but in your heart you can scream. Yeah. Yeah, so online, does anyone have any question or comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhamma Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, amazing class today. Thank you so much for emphasizing on the importance of serving Guru Varga, hearing from them. I really don't, I mean, at this point of time, I don't have a question, but there were so many takeaway points from your class today, especially how you emphasize, how you spoke so much about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. It was so nice, Prabhuji. And that one point that you made, our prime importance is to chant the holy name and do our sadhana. That is the most important thing for us. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful for the class today.
Actually, I was hearing recently, I heard one clip by Raghunath Maharaj. I put that in my YouTube playlist. I have to hear daily, even though not been hearing. So in that, Maharaj says something really, it's really powerful. Maharaj says two things. I mean, it's for myself. He says, if you don't chant the holy name very attentively, 16 rounds, he's quoting Prabhupada, you can fall down at any moment. You can become a victim of Maya at any moment. I become victim of Maya all the time. But he says any moment. The next thing he says, to regularly and sincerely take shelter of the scripture. So he says, this is not a matter of convenience. That today I have time, I will read. Today I don't have time, I will not read. He says it's a matter of life and death. So he says, if something's a matter of life and death, then you make time. You don't say, I don't have time. So probably I can share that also. It's extraordinary actually.
Yes, Prabhuji, please share that. It will be very nice to hear again. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful.
All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada's, and whatever speaking is all from Prabhupada's books only, from pure devotees books. So this is the power actually. This is very powerful. We need to keep in touch. Anyone else?
Thank you very much.
Question?
Thank you very much, Shyam Kishore Prabhu. There's, words of Srila Prabhupada, but hearing from your lotus mouth has a lot of impact. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring us with so much attention and so much focus and so much realization. Thank you.
Okay, nobody else any other questions or comments? I will end here. Srila Prabhupada ki.